believe in giving back. I think it's important to share, and to the extent I can do that and make it worthwhile, that would be terrific. Maybe I'll be the first one ever to be asked to come back 3 times. I'd like to start out, Josh, I'd like to start out with a test. And no cheating, keep this to yourself, but I'd like to ask you to... Oh, I didn't do my part. Simple test. Count the number of F's you see below the top lines. Okay, so how many people see 4 or fewer F's? Couple. How many people see 5 or less? Couple more. Anybody see more than 5? Rachel, you're not allowed to play, and Josh, you're not allowed to play. So where are they? Where's the first one? Finished? Where's the next one? Files? How many of you missed the next one? Of? How do we miss that? It's right in front of us. What's the next one? Scientific? Where's the next one? Of. That little bugger of again. Where's the 6th one? How many people can see the fly on the wall? Couple? Everybody see it? See the F? So Josh, if you can turn that off now. Thank you. I show that because so often we think we know it all. We take too much credit. We forget what humility is. And when something so simple is right in front of you and you can't see it, it's a constant reminder of what I tell my staff today, to think like children, to think like God's children, to think with a pure mind when you try to go out and serve people. And so things that are so apparent and right in front of our nose often, quite frankly, is how I've made my entire career. By helping other people see what's right in front of them. So I've worked as a consultant most recently, which works with large companies, trying to help them solve big problems. And often the answers are right in front of them and they can't see it. So I use that as illustration, those F's. I don't know, I couldn't see them either. But now I kind of know they're there, so I look for them. And that in itself has some problems. So to begin with, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you, Ken, for having me back. I really do appreciate it. I love interacting with college students, so much so that 4 years ago, I signed up to teach as an adjunct faculty member at RIT. RIT has a school of printing for 28 years. I just turned 50 last week, so I'm feeling kind of old. Try not to act it, but I feel it, right? And my daughter will tell you I don't act it at all, but I felt it was important to give back to the industry that allowed me to be successful, for me to nurture and care for my family, and to grow, to give back. So I teach a class in the fall on leadership. I teach a class in the spring in marketing. And I've been doing it for 4 years, and I've hired 30 of my students over the years. So I try to be very good judges of character, because at the end of the day, that's what I hire. As you're getting ready to graduate, guess what? Everybody has it here. I want to know how many people have it here. Got that? I can go get this, I can go train this, I can go teach this, I can go find this anywhere I want. I can't find the heart. I can't find the attitude. I can't find the character. And in business, as in life, who you surround yourself with will define you. It will define how successful you'll be, because I can tell you as a leader, you're only as good as your weakest link. So I always tell my students, if anybody gets less than a B in my class, I take it as a personal failure. But I take ownership and responsibility for making sure that my people, my students, are successful. That make sense? If I let someone fail in my class, I feel like I've failed because I've let them down. So I look at how can I lift up? How can I lift up people rather than put people down? Which is easier to do? Lift up or put down? Put down. It's kind of hard to look for the best in people and to lift up, right? So as you have questions about your career, about aspirations, about where you should go to school or where you should go and look for jobs, I'm happy to entertain and engage with that. Okay? So I would like to review a little bit about my career and tell you how it started and why I did what I did, and if it to an extent it makes sense, let me know. I started in sales. Didn't want to. Had all the nasty perceptions of what a salesperson was like. Beer drinking, bar hopping, lying, conniving, cheating, can't trust them, snake oil salesman, right? But it was Kodak. I'm like, all right, until they told me that I had to schlep copiers. So I imagined in myself, you know, you got this minivan, and you got this little cart, and you're going to push it into all the companies and say, buy this. I did not want to do that. But yet today, I preach to all of my students that I think sales is a great first job. Why would I say that? How many of you want to have sales as your first job? Look at that. Everybody look. Not many. Josh. Because you already heard, you heard this earlier. Why? What do you think? Or let me put it this way. Let's go on the positive. Why would starting your career in sales be so wonderful?
It helps you to learn to work with people?
Huh, I think you have to. At the end of the day, when you're selling, no matter what you're selling, what's the first thing you sell? Yourself. And if you learn to sell yourself, guess what? That has application not when you're trying to sell somebody something, but when you're trying to sell yourself for your next job, or your first job. Why else would it be important? Yes?
It can develop perseverance.
Huh. I was asked a question earlier today. What one trait would I take from somebody going into sales? And I think some felt, well, someone that's really creative, or someone that's high energy, or someone who has great people skills. I said, give me tenacity. Give me that bulldog that will grab onto an ankle and not let go, and I will show you someone that can be very successful in sales. I also said it doesn't take brains, or you don't have to be particularly bright to be successful. The first thing I tell my students at RIT is that I couldn't even get into RIT. That kind of freaks them out. Like, well, wait a minute, you're like our professor. How could you be that stupid? Well, I can tell you how. Everyone in here got a higher grade on their SAT than I did. I was stuck in 3 digits. Combined. Right? That's pretty dumb. But I found a way to be tenacious. I found a way to serve people. I found a way to work, have a good work ethic and to be honest. And so 3 years later, after 3 years as the top salesperson inside of Eastman Kodak, how else would you get separated out from 1,000 other salespeople unless you're among the top? So I made a commitment that I was going to try to be the very best I could be, and customers bought that. They bought me. One of the little tricks I use that you might want to try someday if you ever do this is I always wrote my home telephone number on my business card. If you ever have a problem, call me. The other thing I did is I said, here's all my customers, here's the book. Anyone that you want to call, tell me when you want to stop. I'll let you call any one of my customers. Now, think of how the expectations that set on me as a professional. I better make sure that all my customers are happy in case they actually do get called. So they asked me to come into Rochester, to come into a staff position. They found that I could add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and aha, I was now in marketing. Trust me, I had 4 majors in college. Right? So I've had a lot of jobs, but they've all been somewhat related. So I started in accounting. That didn't go over so well. Switched over to finance. Equally disappointing. Moved over to economics. That was totally lost. Ended up in marketing because it was the easiest one. We're talking Michigan State now. This is not like Houghton where it's hard. This is like a state school that anybody can get in. Fortunately, Magic Johnson was there when I was there, so we had a lot of time watching great basketball games. And a national championship was terrific. So I started moving from staff job to staff job to staff job, always being the first to say, I'll do that. Because I thought it showed initiative and a little bit of courage, and I wasn't afraid to fail. Because you will fail. But what you take away from that failure will define your future success. So the next thing happened is I had a chance to buy a business for our company. We bought a business from IBM. As things are getting global, We were then going to buy 13 other businesses from